me, you're a Navy grad. A lot of people think, in our political environment, in our social media environment, in our economic environment, these are sort of turbulent times. There's a little bit more challenging times. What did your service in the Navy and your education in the Navy, what did that teach you about sort of navigating through choppy waters?
Well, in addition to being a Navy vet, I'm a history buff, and I just finished reading Chernow's book on Grant, which I'm a big fan of Ron Chernow and the history books that he writes. And it was a fascinating view into kind of his leadership perspective, but also giving some context to tumultuous times in American history and how we navigated some really challenging aspects. For whatever reason, I haven't had a lot of experience of looking into what we went through during Reconstruction following the Civil War and appreciating how turbulent those times were, which it could be argued that we're still trying to sort through some of those pieces. But I think that back to some conversations that I had with my first ship captain that I got to serve with him a second time at the Pentagon, and we would have these discussions all the time about what was happening in DC and just kind of political banter because we were both nerds about it. And I always appreciated his perspective that he would say, we have these challenges and these political issues that come out, but for better or for worse, the United States has continued to see their way through all of these different issues that have come forward because of the foundation that we laid for ourselves. And so I always take faith in the fact that the United States has been through tough situations before, and while we didn't know exactly how we were going to get through it,
we are still batting 100.
Right, we still continue to find our way through it. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, and it's hard, but because we continue to push and we still maintain integrity towards the key fundamentals that set up this experiment in democracy, then we're able to see our way through it in a way that no other country has before. Now, I don't think that we can take that as we've been through this before, we should just ignore it, it'll sort itself out. No, it sorts itself out because we're committed towards the service towards what this country stands for. And democracy is messy, but it is, what's the Winston Churchill quote of that it's what the worst form of government except for all the others.
Everything else that exists.
Right, so I think I take some comfort from that and maybe even some encouragement of, then in order for us to continue to succeed, it takes engagement and what can we still work towards for the improvement and not let the craziness and all the screaming and shouting crowd out the good that we can create.
It's ultimately focusing on the positive, not in a Pollyannish kind of way, to say, oh my God, there's not challenges, but to focus on the positive of, the number of things that are right.
Right.
If you're sick, think about how many things in your body are working correctly.
Right.
You might have a cold, but there's 4,000 other things that are working perfectly correctly to keep you alive. So I think it's a matter of focusing on, and particularly as people think about government, focusing on what is working. Because you can put what's not working on the headline, but generally, and you probably see this across counties and all of these constituencies, for the most part, they all get along.
Right.
And they actually all work together. And maybe the headline is, these two groups don't work together really well, but the preponderance of evidence says most people work together pretty good.
Right. And oftentimes the way that we communicate and other news outlets try and gen up emotion by focusing on the stuff that isn't going well and the conflict, fomenting fear that exists amongst all these different situations. But there's so much good that's happening, and especially when you look at the state and local level of people who we don't have the luxury of not figuring things out. We have to address these certain things, and that's what mayors will talk about all the time. And I think that Governor Holcomb has done a tremendous job of being able to focus on how do we get to the solutions and ensure that we are providing the best government service that we can at the greatest taxpayer value as well, so that then we are ensuring that the service that we're providing is as best as possible.